Right now, our texture is a little too small to work with inside of the tile picker. In order to fix that, we're going to add a drop-down menu that'll let us change the scale value so that we can see it a little bit easier. Let's go back into our tile picker window. At the top of our class, we're going to create an enum which will represent all the scale values that we support. Once we create our scale enum with 1 through 5, we're going to need a field in order to store this value. We'll set its type to the scale enum and just call it scale. Now, above where we draw our texture, we're going to want to create a drop-down that'll let us pick the actual scale that we want to use. Here, we're going to set the scale value to the return value of an enum pop-up. We'll need to make sure that we recast it as a scale enum and then use the editor GUI layout to create the pop-up. We'll set the label to zoom and we'll pass in the scale enum as its values. Next, we're going to want to calculate the actual scale value. Since an enum's first position is 0, we wouldn't want to multiply the texture's width and height by 0 or we wouldn't be able to see it. So we'll need to add 1 to the value of the selected scale. We'll calculate the new scale value by converting the scale enum into an int by casting it. Then we'll add 1 to the value we get back. Next, we're going to need to recalculate the texture size based on the new scale. Here we're creating a new vector 2D with the texture 2D's width and height multiplied by the new scale. Now, in order for us to see this dropdown, we're going to need to move the texture down a little bit inside of the window. Let's create an offset to keep track of how much further we need to actually move this over. Here I'm creating a new vector 2 with 10 and 25 as its value. Now we'll need to redo the rect for the draw texture in order to account for the offset and the new texture size. Let's delete the current contents and use offset X, offset Y, new texture size X, and new texture size Y. Now save our code and let's go back into Unity. From here, you can select any of the scale values from our dropdown. If we set it to 5, it'll now be 5 times its normal size. This will be a lot easier for us to work with. In the next video, we'll look into building scroll bars in case we pick a size that's too big for the window to render.